With updates on returns and more, this is Wrestling Up. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Speaking about his match against Bryan Danielson from All Out, Chris Jericho noted on his podcast how he was disappointed in the performance. September 4th, Chicago, I worked with Bryan Danielson. We had never really had a single match of merit before. We had 2 shorter matches, but we never anything that could be called an instant classic. And this one wasn't classic. It was good, but I think we tried just a little bit too hard. The one we had the following week was a barn burner of all barn burners to me, but this one, we just tried a little bit too hard maybe, and it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but I find sometimes that happens. Sometimes you work with someone for the first time like Eddie Kingston, and you have just this amazing, incredible chemistry, and sometimes you get pitted with a guy that you should have amazing chemistry with, and it takes 1 or 2 matches to get into the groove. Recalling his tag team match with Billy Gunn against The Rock and Steve Austin from Raw on October 25th, 1999, Road Dogg revealed he was high during this, saying on his podcast, "Of course not, I'm cruising. And truth be told, I wrongly consider myself belonging in that match." I mean, looking back now and you see like, okay, Dogg, you are no Rock or Austin. But at the time, I was in the match with them and I was high, so I thought I was equal to them. Yeah, I mean, we a lot of times, even on live events, we would go and we would main event the show in our tag title defense or whatever. Taker or Rock or Austin or whoever the real attraction was would go on like before intermission, and then they could shower and get dressed and leave or whatever, and we would close the show. And that was the way it just went that way. And so this was one of those times where I appreciated them thinking highly enough of us to put us on TV in that spot. You know what I mean? That says a lot, especially now knowing the importance of that spot and the importance of landscape on television, period. And so having a somewhat of a grasp of that now, it's really impressive to me that we were the main event of the show and a tag title defense. You know what I mean? That's cool to think about now. At the time, I just thought, I'm doing my job, and how do I quickly get out of here and get to the next town? Taking to Instagram, Bray Wyatt would give an update on his uncle Barry Windham, who recently recovered from a heart attack. Here's the video.
Normally, I keep a lot of my outside life separate from anything that I do on here or in the ring. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm incredibly thankful for the support and the love that I've received since I've been back and throughout my career. Wrestling has been a part of my life always. And when I was a kid, I looked at my dad, my uncles, and my grandfather, who were all professional wrestlers. I looked at them as if they were Greek gods or something. Like they couldn't feel pain. You know, they were immortal. They would always be just like that. As we get older, you know, and I become a man myself, you know, you start to understand that that's just not the case. You know, nothing is forever. This week, my uncle Barry Windham, he had a massive heart failure in Atlanta, and he went down, and he didn't have a pulse for 10 to 20 minutes. You know, so he was away. He was gone, and I wanted to thank one specific man, Michael Todd Lalick, who was there, a random citizen, and he gave him CPR in there for that entire time before, you know, everyone else could get, the EMTs could get to him, and he was, you know, he stayed with him, and he's the reason that, you know, we have Barry still. He's alive, he's with us. And Barry Windham has given his life to his profession, you know. His whole life has been about this, just like mine, and he put everything into it, and And I just wanted to share that I'm incredibly thankful to have him back. And my sister set up a GoFundMe in his name. And you're not obligated to share. No one's obligated to share anything. But if you could, that would be incredibly helpful. And take it from me, sometimes, when you're someone like that, it's incredibly powerful to remind them that they mean a lot to a lot of people. And I hope everyone out there that's hearing this, I hope you take this from me. Be good to the ones you love. Always remind them about that and how much they mean to you, because nothing is forever. But yeah, thank you for everything, guys.
Talking about the possibility of the New Day being a part of NXT long-term, Shawn Michaels noted during a recent media call, "We never go into it asking for long-term. We kind of take everybody's temperature when they come here and hope that it does. We understand if it doesn't and the commitments, but I'll say this. They really enjoyed being here Tuesday and know that there is an aspect. Xavier started here and he has wanted to come back for a long time. It's amazing. The two young guys, and they've been doing this for a long time and have accomplished everything. They get to that point where they want to start to be able to give back, and I think that's where New Day is. I won't lie, I'm absolutely hoping to take advantage of that. They really had a great time. We're going to try and do everything we can to keep them here as long as we can. I asked them if we could broach those conversations, and they were certainly open to it. I'm really hoping it's certainly more than a one-time thing. It just becomes a question of how long. Those are always the questions, and we understand that those are the ones that they have to think about and talk with family members, and those are things that have to get straightened out with NXT and main roster talents, but they appear to be open to the conversation, which we are very excited about. Michaels would also say this about how NXT works out main roster appearances. We have a lot of main roster talent who have NXT roots, and a lot of them like to come back and help out. Usually, the process is something that, if we're thinking from a previous standpoint, then we get X date, I do everything I can to get on the horn, that Hunter approves, and see what the possibility is. There is some where I take advantage of, I don't know, the cool titles and other stuff, and like, hey, this is a quick one out of the blue, but this is a quick one that we need. Can we get somebody on the quick? Obviously, that is more difficult, and we can get you somebody, but we're not sure who. So it is a number of different ways, and we've done every one of them. It's not a formal process. It takes all forms. Discussing the thoughts of the former WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon to higher-ups in the company, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, Vince McMahon became irrelevant really fast in the real world. If you really notice, like when Vince was gone, the first couple of days or week, it's a big story, but after that, it's like he was a giant in wrestling, but in pop culture, he was a one-day story. So I know it from dealing with some higher power people, that they lost interest in Vince real quick. Once it was like, okay, he's gone, now on to the next. Life goes on, yes. Like, if he would have left and WWE collapsed, then yes, but WWE just very smooth transition, actually got better. Speaking about a return to WWE, Becky Lynch admitted during a Q&A for Alternative Sport, I think 2022 was full of ups and downs. The downs, obviously, being taken out for the first time with an injury for a prolonged period. That did have an effect on my mentality. Coming back, there was so much apprehension, and the fans greeted me with such open arms, and reminded me that there's nothing like this. That putting your body on the line for their entertainment is such a privilege, and it is so worth it. So a big, giant thank you to the fans for letting me entertain them, and I can't wait to do so much more in 2023. When it comes to reports of Sasha Banks making an appearance at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom event on January 4th, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, there's nobody there that knew anything about it, which is not to say he's probably right. Including some big insiders. The only thing I did get when asking around is that the winner of the Tokyo Dome, I believe their next title defense will be in San Jose. With Charlotte Flair not having been seen on WWE programming in some time, it appears the company is working on a return for her, as Ringside News wrote. Can independently confirm the reports of WWE working on Charlotte Flair's return are accurate. In fact, WWE were already talking about a return for prior to WWE Survivor Series War Games. Staying on the topic of returns to WWE, Variety.com is reporting that John Cena will be appearing on the final SmackDown of this year, which will take place on December 30th. When it comes to him possibly facing Austin Theory or Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39 next year, F4W Online mentioned that there is a question regarding Cena at Mania. He is scheduled to be in Australia throughout February and March, filming the movie Ricky Stanicky, a comedy with Zac Efron. As Cody Rhodes is currently out of action and rehabbing his torn pectoral, Sean Ross Sapp gave some insight into what the future potentially holds for the American Nightmare. WWE filmed a commercial Thursday in Los Angeles that featured Cody Rhodes, or at the very least, someone dressed up exactly like him, and The Miz locking up on a Los Angeles bridge. We're told that Maurice was supposed to be in attendance as well, though we aren't sure if it was for a specific commercial spot or just to be there. In addition, Triple H and Bad Bunny were both in town, as Triple H has posted a picture with him. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.